Hello.
Hi,
I was trying to get into the town hall
Oh, okay.
meeting.
Is the door open?
No,
closed.
it's locked actually.
Yeah, it's locked.
I feel bloated.
Do you?
I do. I feel bloated.
Yep, 2 to 6.
Oh, it doesn't even work?
I don't have enough credentials.
Oh, maybe there. I don't know.
Maybe.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yes, thank you.
There's a lot of employers in that area that have signaled to us that they want to work with us. Denver International Airport, Hotel and Conference Center, and those things. So we've got some great partners to work with. And the goal is also that it's large enough, and it will serve more than the needs of just people from Aurora. And so the operational cost, much of the operational cost is going to be privately funded from things like the Daniels Fund is committed to it, and Streets Foundation is committed to it. And so we'll continue to work that angle in terms of attracting private dollars for what is really a unique program, I think, in the country. And so we really want to, I really believe
We're in here, guys.
I think it can work. Colorado Springs has a concept relatively close to it. I went to Houston, looked at their program in housing first. I went to San Antonio, I looked at their program, which is kind of somewhere between housing first and work first. And so, but I think, but the goal, I just think that it is not, you know, taking somebody off the street who suffers from a severe addiction and other problems and simply putting them in a room and not having any requirements.
I guess we're just gonna have fun today, aren't
So that's where we are. November to be fully operational. What we are doing right now with it is we have the Aurora Data Resource Center right now on the City of Ancients Medical Campus. That's our current facility and then we take them over, we bus them up in the afternoon to this. So we are using the congregate shelter part for overnight. And so I think we have about 150 people that go there, stay there at night now. But the renovation is not done. And so it will not be fully operational until November. It will dovetail well into the program that Judge Day talked about, where you have, where somebody has a some low level offenses, shoplifting or trespassing or something like that, then they commit to, they have an agreement with the court of the things that they will do to go ahead and approve this. So let me start with to talk about. I think we have some major redevelopment opportunities.
This should have wheels on it.
And I think let me talk about the east end of Raleigh first, and that the Colorado Community College system has not been the best partner for the city. So when the base closed, when Laurel Air Force Base closed in 1994, they gave the Aurora portion, much of the Aurora portion, 116 acres, to the Colorado Community College system with a 30-year deed restriction that it can be only used for higher education and vocational training. During that 30 years, they've not built a single building there. They've boarded up most of it, and they have repurposed some. And so I, worked with the governor to put pressure on the board for the Colorado Community College system. And so now they're moving through the process of where we can redevelop the area, and they'll sell the area. Aurora Community College System used to have some programs there. They moved all their programs off of the Aurora side. They're building a new extension of their campus, and so that'll be done this summer. So there'll be nothing from the Aurora Community College out there that's left. But it's a blighted area. I mean, it just looks awful, and it's had a negative impact on the community around it. And so, if you think about opportunities for redevelopment, think about the Stanley Marketplace. So there you have, that's was I think around 20 acres in a manufacturing facility for aviation parts at about 140,000 square feet. And so that, that was shuttered in 2007 for a 10-year period, and somebody reimagined it as a mall with lots of restaurants and boutique shops, retail and events for families. And that has been really successful and has energized the area around it with new development and helped stabilize some of the neighborhoods close by. And so that can have, I think, and that's 20 acres, this is 116 acres, so they have a tremendous effect in terms of an economic catalyst. Stanley Marketplace, inside Stanley Marketplace. Fitzsimmons Army Medical Center, so the building 500, the main hospital, this was closed in 1996. It was an Army post, a major regional hospital. So it closed in 1996. When it closed, there were a total of 3,000 employees, military and civilian, that worked on the base, on the post. Today, there are 32,000 employees on this CBH's Medical Center, and there are 4,500 students going to the various University of Colorado medical programs, and there's a lot of research going on the campus. My goal is to move things off the campus that I don't think should be there. So we'll move our homeless services off the campus. When we have the new facility at I-70 in Chambers. And so even talking about, there's an Army Reserve facility that's kind of a legacy of when it was an active military installation. We're talking about moving that over by Buckley. And that's 20 acres that can free up for redevelopment. This is what it looks like today, the part of the campus. But again, we have a lot that we can still do. There's a new master plan for the campus to make it a very urban campus. And this is from the RTE stuff. Again, this is part of the tribal architects who did the revision of the master plan. So it's part of my goal to have an urban campus still with a residential component to it. And I'll explain that in just a minute. This is a shot of, this is Sand Creek, how the north part of the campus will tie into Sand Creek. This is another of the campus. So I went to Boston along with the city manager and some, and Dustin Zavonik, member of city council, and some staff, as well as some folks from the University of Colorado, to look at successful medical research campuses in the city of Boston. And so we looked at Kendall Square, which is more tied to MIT, but has a heavy component of life sciences. And we looked at Longwood Medical Area, which I thought was a better comparison of what we can do. So Longwood Medical Area is 213 acres. It has 68,000 employees on it, all engaged in healthcare, and it has 27,000 students.
Where is?
This is not in Boston, I'm sorry. Kendall Square is in Cambridge, which is next to Boston, and then Longwood Medical Area is in Boston. And so, I mean, what they don't have is any room to grow. What we have is room to grow. And so, I went to one of the buildings, high-rise, wet labs, and talked to the individual managing the building, and he says, well, there are three the people that come in, the researchers have three different access barriers. One for into this lab to do their research, one to teach at the medical school, and one to do clinical work in terms of seeing patients. That's essentially what we have. I mean, we have the academic component, we have there's a lot of research already being done on the campus, and we have three major regional hospitals on the campus. That's about the numbers for Longwood. So I just, this is, so I think that the CU Answers campus, has already been really a catalyst for economic growth. If you look at the south side of Colfax, from the campus, you can already see a lot of redevelopment. This is a project that's going up right now that is along the southeast corner of Fiore and Colfax. I think it's around 210 units. It has structured parking, so you don't have to see about it. It is income restricted. So we want a mix of income restricted and market rate of housing. So next I want to talk about Colfax. And I think one of the great challenges is redeveloping, revitalizing Colfax from Peoria to all the way to Yosemite, all the way to the Denver line. So when I was growing up, Colfax was still the business center for the city, the commercial center for the city of Aurora, as well as government. The government buildings were all there as well. I mean, it was all a retail center. You see Fikes Theater, which is still there. But it began, this is the one from the other picture. I'll talk about this in a second. But it began its descent, decline, in probably the 1970s. In the early 1970s, when you had I-70 built, because US 40 or Colfax used to be in the east-west corridor for people traveling, and then once I-70 was built, that changed. Then you had new shiny retail built to the south, like Buckingham Square, where people then stopped going downtown to shop. And then, of course, the closure of both military installations in Melbourne. This is a project that, well, actually, unfortunately, there was a fire, but this is on the southwest corner of Colfax and Peoria. And so this, and they signaled to us that they're going to rebuild. But there was a terrible fire. It was in the plywood phase of development, and it's a pretty, in terms of risk, it's a pretty high risk in terms of fire, and the fire caught there and burned it down, including compromising the cement from the construction parkings inside, where it all had to come down. So, but this is 4 to 5 units. This is market rate, first floor retail, structured parking, beautiful building. And so this is just on the west side, so it's kind of like a beachhead on the west side of Colfax and Peoria. So I think that those 3 things that we have right now, we've started the process to plan for the redevelopment of Colfax in that area, and then we've hired a consultant, and they'll come back next month with saying this is the best structure you should take, whether it's a business improvement district or whatever it is. It's the best structure you should take to move the process forward to redevelopment. I think that the dominant part of Colfax in this area needs to be multifamily residential, and to have to make it urban, to people living there, mass transit. You have a mass transit corridor. You have people to support restaurants, to support the arts in this area. But having those eyes on the street 24 hours a day will make it safer. We'll just make it safer. I mean, it's, a lot of places don't even open up in the evening because of the crime situation right now. I mean, the worst intersection probably right now, I would say, it shifts around, but probably an abandoned Colfax. In abandoned Colfax, we had Walmart pull out last summer, and we had Walgreens pull out in November. And so on the other two corners, you have a marijuana store and then you have a convenience store that sells beer. So that, then it becomes sort of a predatory economic system. And so I think redeveloping, revitalizing this area, I think is key to the city. No matter what we do, it will always be, in my view, the spiritual heart of the city is Colfax. And no matter what we do, we try to make a city center in this area down here. And I think people outside the world always see it that way. And it's not good. It's not good. And so we've got, I think we can bring it back better than it ever was. And certainly that's my goal. With that, let me open to any questions you have.
So do you have plans, I know you mentioned plans for the area to the city, have any plans to expand from north and south?
Right. So here's what I think. I think that right now the focus is on Colfax Board. And the reason why is because I think when you have an area as bad as Colfax, it influences north and south. And so it is so important to start with that. And you have the development of Salem Marketplace. That is influencing south, starting at Montague. But I think the focus will be right now, the three, basically creating an urban corridor from I-225 all the way to Yosemite on Colfax. Then there's also a developer that I've been talking to and has been working with the city that wants to build a fairly urban development on the east side of CUH, which goes down in the valley. I think there used to be a mobile home park there. Wants to redevelop that in a fairly high density project to complement the campus, where it will be a very urban district. One thing that I learned when I was in Boston is that you really got to have a resident to the campus. You really need a residential component to it. We're going to have probably do a little bit of residential, more residential, but the dominant piece has got to be research. But that if you don't have a residential piece, then it won't support the kind of restaurants and the kind of amenities that people that work there would like to have.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for your presentation.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. You're next. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for your presentation. This is a great outlook on your vision and your future for Aurora. Coming from being homeless myself, after being here for well over 25 years, maybe I missed it, but what is the plan for the homeless veterans that in that area, as well as all of the other homeless people? What does that look like? Will there be housing for them?
Well, I think it's partnering with the VA, because it's tapping into their services. So we have one of what we call problem-solving boards. We have a problem-solving board for different areas. So what you saw, like the judge briefed, is a problem-solving board for low-level offenses for people experiencing homelessness. But we also have an armed services court, or veterans court right now, for people who they could go to active duty or retired, or veterans who are serving in the military. And so what we do there in that court is we bring in the various partners like the VA, so the VA will have a representative there to be able to do appointments and to be able to provide services like housing vouchers, things like that. So it's really, the VA has some pretty robust services. We want to tap into those services. Where we probably have a problem is based on the discharge of the veteran, and so that's a different set of challenges for us. But they would be on the program that I think we're going to have a very robust program that I'm very excited about. And then we'll partner when somebody's ready to completely graduate from the program. That we will partner with other housing providers that do. Sometimes I disagree with the program in terms of housing, but they will provide as well. Based on income or based on a percentage of disability. Yes.
Okay, maybe I missed it in your presentation, but what are you gonna do with that Fitzsimmons Hospital? What are you gonna do with that?
So the church, so right now on the campus, I work with CU on the northern part of the campus. Montague North is actually, a collaborative agreement with the city of Aurora and, CU Medical Center, or the University of Colorado, to bring bioscience research there. So I sit as the chair of that board, and the vice chair of the board is, Don Elliman, who's the chancellor of the University of Colorado, at the entrance of the campus. And we just hired, Kelly Grove, who was the head of the Denver Metro Chamber of Commerce and ran for mayor of Denver, to be the executive director for us. And so we're really working on pushing that forward. So, so Building 500 right now is owned by the University of Colorado, and they use it for all their administrative, service for the campus. And so, then we own, the city of Aurora has a park on the southwest corner. And we have right now we have a Aurora Day Resource Center, which is for homeless services, but and it's the old gym, it's not really a good place to have. We will tear that down once the new, Aurora Navigation Resource Center is up and running in November. We'll tear that down, there's 4 acres that can be rebuilt there. I think we're talking to Children's Hospital about.
But you're not gonna tear down the main hospital?
Oh, no, that's historic.
Oh, that's-
That was built, finished construction, like, I think 3 days before World War II started.
Is anything are you doing anything inside that hospital now?
Well, that's really not used as a hospital anymore. It is, when I was a kid growing up, my father was a son, and it was like the biggest building by far in Aurora, probably one of the biggest in the state. And I thought it was so good. Now I look, and face it, it's dwarfed by all the buildings around it that are much larger, the Children's Hospital, UC Health, and the Veterans Administration.
Because there's a dental place right there on the corner before you get right there by the hospital. I used to take the guy there.
Yeah, Bob.
My understanding is that, an old gym that's being used now, to describe, that was actually promised to District 1 Police Station. And, but I guess, my concern is District 1 still gonna be located on the campus, or is there?
No, so District 1, so we're divided into 3 districts, for the Aurora Police Department for, administrative purposes. So District 1 is everything on the west side of I-225, is District 1. District 2 is, everything on the east side of, I-225 from Jewel north, and District 3 is everything on the east side of I-225, from Jewel south. And so, their District 1 headquarters is there. Now, where Bob, what you're getting at though, is that was deed restricted when it was given, to the city, by the Department of the Army for, law enforcement purposes. And so, we're gonna have to work with them in order to free up that. So, there's several avenues that we can do on that, but we clearly want to redevelop that 4 acres, and take that building down. Is the goal. Yeah.
So this is actually a 2-part question. So I know you got, the city was talking about building a multi-purpose entertainment venue or whatnot. Do you have like a specific site in mind, or are there multiple sites that you guys are considering across the city? And then my second question is, there's been a lot of divide in the city and whatnot, and I'd love to see that divide be rebuilt. And there's constant questions about what the city really feels about diversity. So can you give me clarification on how you feel about diversity, since you wanna?
Sure. So I'm sorry, the first part was, the entertainment venue. So we are currently, we engaged a consultant, we're in discussions about having a major, entertainment venue, in the city. no decision has been made at all. You know, obviously, if it could be done, in the Colfax corridor, that'd probably be my preference. But we'll always have the flex the other day, some of the other venues. But that is really undecided. I mean, I know the Gaylord, Hotel and Conference Center would love to work with us on, entertainment venues, by their grounds or in and around the grounds. But that's just one proposal. There's another proposal, I think, for kind of a baseball stadium, but a very minor, I might be some minor league, but they want us to build the stadium. And then, you know, it supposedly cause redevelopment around it. I'm really not sure about that. But there is a, you know, discussion about entertainment venue now. I mean, Aurora is the most diverse city in the state of Colorado. I think that is a great thing for us, and I know that there's challenges right now in terms of immigration issues, but I'm proud of the fact that we're the most diverse city in Colorado, and so it's always going to be a challenge to us how we accommodate that diversity. And I think one thing that in fact, the library system just started an initiative to say, and they'll be reaching out to different communities, how can we make libraries relevant to everyone in the city? And so how can you make it relevant to different immigrant groups? How can you, absolutely, our newest council member is from the second largest immigrant community in Colorado, in the state, in the city of Aurora, which is the Ethiopian community. I think people from Mexico are the largest immigrant community. I think Ethiopia is second. I think El Salvador is the third, and three is the fourth. Yeah.
What is the city doing about the cuts to funding and staffing at the VA hospital and the insurance company?
Well, I just, going through the VA hospital, two things. So I think in the VA hospital, the issue is that probably, I would assume probationary employees, I don't know what the administration, but we really don't have a say in that, other than certainly the lobby for the people that work here, whether they're federal or state or local employees. And then I think that the other one you mentioned was
Funding for research.
funding for research, and so that's kind of in discussion right now where I think it was something like 50% could be used in administrative costs. Now they want to take it down to 15% is too low for NIH funding, National Institutes of Health. And so I'm going to be in Washington with some other council members, and Angela will be there with me. And we'll be meeting with administration officials as well as members of our congressional delegation to talk about these issues.
Yeah, I actually have a question for you, just to kind of buttress the point that was made back here about diversity, and you like to talk about diversity, and you should, every chance you get, because like you said, Aurora is the most diverse city in the entire state. So my question is very specifically, what are you going to do to avoid the gentrification of Aurora? Because from what I see from your presentation, it looks like that's exactly what gentrification looks like.
Very good question. In terms of what my vision is, how do you deal with gentrification? And that is certainly a challenge. And so I think how you deal with it is you have to have a mix. And the mix is this, that, well, first of all, one of the good things is that what we're looking at on the Colfax corridor, we're taking, we'll be taking retail that is either marginally used or boarded up and replacing it with housing. And so we're not taking out housing to replace it with more expensive housing, but that it has to have a mix. And the mix has got to be market rate housing and income restricted housing. And so, for instance, so I showed two apartment buildings up there. One was on the southeast corner of Peoria and Colfax. That is income restricted. So that is taking people that 30% or whatever of the average median income, and saying you have to be within, even though it be such a percentage has to be there, and a little higher, or maybe a little higher. But is basically workforce for, affordable housing, by the end of the word. And so it's having that mix is very important. And then I think, there's not all just doctors and nurses and things like that, and some nurses probably confuse it. That work on the issues medical campus, so, we want that mix, and so it's really important to do that. So there are federal tax credits available, that we have to apply for to be able to do, to have that incentive to do that affordable housing component, yes.
Yes, real quick, in your last meeting, you had mentioned, about downtown, that Aurora is basically the only city compared to Denver and Colorado that do not have a downtown. Do you have any plans for that?
No, I think that's my idea, to have that urban, to make Colfax urban, make the campus urban, make Colfax urban, and probably, I think probably that eastern end of Florida will be a mixed use, development will be more urban, more high density. But what I see is that, just like when I was a kid growing up here, that area between Peoria and Yosemite was the downtown. We need to bring that back as a downtown, and it's gotta be urban, it's gotta be high density, yeah.
Got a question up here.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, thank you for being here. Quick question. You had made a pretty disturbing social media post about Kylan Lewis, and it was more pertaining to the warrant. Have you seen the warrant, and have you had the opportunity to view the warrant that was unlawfully issued to him?
So, two things, the case Milo Lewis, and I think we've had demonstrations before council probably for about the last 10 months. And so, there's a process, and that process was adopted in Senate Bill 217 back after the George Floyd riots that the legislature did, to define exactly the process, where we cannot investigate our own case. It has to be done by an outside jurisdiction. That was done. They did that investigation, they did that report, also took it to a grand jury. In both, they didn't find any fault in the officer. And so,
So that would be a no?
that, I have not seen it, yeah. Whatever documents were there, I did these before.
He hasn't?
Yes.
Hi, Mayor.
Are we out of here?
Next week, Mayor Johnson's gonna be in Washington. You know
So
that.
he doesn't, we got it on camera. We got it on camera.
You know, and you know what they're gonna be talking about. Sanctuary City. You also were on the front page of Denver Post about 2 weeks ago. And you and Mayor Johnson are on opposite sides of the fence. You know that.
Right.
Here's the question, and the other thing, the city of Aurora spent about $6,000 to get records from the city of Denver, right? They bought the Cora. Well, I Cora your Cora, okay? City didn't want to give me those records. Okay, they denied me. Now, after all this, and that, you know, that was months ago when the city got those records, the city attorney got that.
We don't have them all yet.
You don't have them all?
No, we do not.
What don't you have? Have you seen the list that they asked for?
We received, the last packet we received, they redacted so much of it that they went beyond this statutory guidelines in terms of redacting information. So we've had to make a request to have those redactions removed.
Okay, and I sent you an email, do you remember me?
No, I don't remember.
Okay, and I said, enough of that. Sue the city. They owe you those records. Be done with this.
We've offered to go into litigation if they do not comply. So let me tell you what had happened, and then now I'm gonna have to get into this time-wise. That Mayor Johnson had come here earlier and asked that we take some of the migrants. I said no. So what he effectively did then, without telling us, and there's no legal requirement for him to tell. To me, there's an ethical and a moral requirement. Because what I think he did was not only unfair to the people of Aurora, but it was unfair unfair to the people that he sent over. So what he did was, they were primarily from Venezuela. And so what we know so far is that he created a system where he used nonprofits, and he changed a couple words. We all use nonprofits to deliver services. But he changed a few words in the contract to say, place them in Denver, and then he added a few words for the surrounding community. We didn't notice it. City council didn't debate it. It went through on the consent calendar. And so, that third party, Papagayo, got, having contracted with the 3 apartment complexes that have been in the news. And the one in the news, mostly in the news, was the Edgelord. And so, and so he didn't tell us. He obviously gave them some resources. He won't tell me what resources he gave them. He got money from FEMA, from the federal government. And then they placed them in those 3 buildings. We've always had problems with habitability concerns with those buildings. In fact, closed down the one building. And it's an out-of-state slumlord from New York that owned the buildings, was happy to take the money. Well, the problem is, in Venezuela it's a failed state. Criminality is rampant. The role of the police forces in Venezuela is protecting the Maduro regime against its people. And so, about a third of the country's left. So, and there wasn't an adequate vetting process at the border. You can cross the border under the prior policy, get arrested for crossing the border legally, then declare political asylum, and then be released into the country under humanitarian parole. Venezuela, because we don't have diplomatic relations with them, probably wouldn't help anyway. They don't share with us criminal histories, as other countries do with people coming into the United States. And so there wasn't an adequate better precedent. So what we know now is whenever you have a concentration of Venezuelans in one area, sometimes that criminal element will follow and superimpose themselves upon them and exploit them. And that's what happened at the end of the war. We didn't know that they were there. We didn't know. Again, and what he was able to do, what Mayor Johnson was able to do, was concentrate the resources on the people that he had. Not even tell us, we're not a city and a county. We don't have human services capability. We don't have those programs or those funding forces. But he didn't even inform our county partners of what he was doing. Yeah.
Are you concerned that when he testifies that it becomes a blame game? And are you prepared for that to tell your side?
So I think, yeah, talk about that. Because, so when first when he resounded me, because he was being targeted by Governor Abbott from Texas. When Governor Abbott was there, he identified about 4 or 5 mayors in the country. And Denver was one of them. Democrat mayors who could put pressure on the Biden administration to change policy. So that's what he was doing. And so he was saying bus after bus after bus. So I said, I'll tell you what. When he asked me, I said, I'll meet with Governor Abbott with you, talk about it. I'll go meet with the president, with you in the White House, that he's got to change the policy. Got it. And his approach was, no, I don't agree with that. When he did meet with the president, with some other mayors, and his position was, no, the federal government just needs to take over responsibility from Governor Abbott in terms of dispersing it through the country and not allowing Governor Abbott to concentrate on a few cities, on 4 or 5 cities. And so, but if I think there were any questions that would come about this, I think the questions that they're really gonna ask him are really about English sanctuary city. That he made some statements about that he was gonna resist, federal forces. Let me just say this, we do not specifically enforce immigration. I mean, that is really, it takes a special designation to do that. We just enforce criminal laws. Those are civil violations. Usually county sheriffs do civil and criminal. We only do criminal, and we want cooperation from our immigrant communities. And so, if I'm wrong, correct me on this, he's in the back, is that if in fact there was an instance whereby the federal authorities couldn't do their job because they were blocked, we would intervene in that situation. Correct. Not even that. So we would intervene there so they could do the job. We're not gonna do their job. We're gonna cooperate with them as much as we possibly can, which is different from them historically. And so I think he's gonna be in, those mayors are gonna answer. Now, if I have some of my ex-members of Congress or members of Congress, I know that, did you sneak in a question about what he did to Aurora, but that's not the, I don't know. Yeah, oh, I'm sorry, okay, one more question.
We've got a large Venezuelan population. Now, the crime organization that centered on those, you looked at, apartment houses. Have these people moved around, or is this?
Come here. I think one thing we did on the edge of law is close it for a criminal nuisance and all that.
And where is the Edgewater? Tell us that.
Yeah, but the individuals in that apartment complex, in conjunction with the city, they were moved in various locations throughout the city. Each house or each apartment within there was given $4,000 to relocate. The relocation was not all done again in the same place, because what we didn't want to have is a displacement where we would just see the same problem bounce over and start all again, with people being victimized by members of their own community. So that's how it happened. Really, I think if you look at it, I think the city, on the press conference I did last week, the city put in $94,000 to move those people from Edge Lowry. And then I think there was another $360-some thousand that was used to make that location habitable, because the location was so inhabitable. I actually did a press conference in one of the apartments that was there, and as I was doing my press conferences, cockroaches were crawling all over, and that was the neatest apartment in the entire location. So again, no human being should ever be placed, should have ever been placed into that. That was the failure of the entire process, to be very honest with you. People came to this country looking for a better life, and instead they were placed into a place of squalor. They were given absolutely no idea of how to function, no idea of how to work, no idea of how to get processes within the government to work. And that is really the beginning and the end of why that was such a failure. So those individuals were dispersed in multiple locations. The city put in a huge amount of money, unfortunately, because that money could have gone to many other things. That money will hopefully be recouped as the litigation process continues with CBZ, the landowners of that property, and hopefully that will all be paid back. But if anything, that is an exact example of what to never do ever again. Because people, I think there's always that fine line, what feels good at the heart. They think it's going to be workable, and it's not workable. That was an absolute failure. People got mistreated, people got victimized, not just the people who resided in that complex, but the people in and around that entire community. The amount of gun violence, the amount of shootings, the amount of issues related to kidnapping, extortion. We have turned the corner on that in the city of Aurora, and I think that's the message now that we have to talk about. We have turned the corner. We can keep looking back in the past. We can use that as an identifier to make sure it doesn't happen again, but the city of Aurora has turned the corner.
So,
So I gotta let staff go. Thank you.
get out of here.
Thank you very much for coming.
Here we go.
If you haven't signed in, we have signed in a little bit later. Please feel free to do that. We want to stay up to all meetings for council and mayor. Very good, everyone.
You know, we always have your back, sir, for my email regarding the water.
1969 Puerto Rico, you and I just.
Oh, wow.
You're coming out. Yeah, Red Buckley. I used to get the haircut there. I've changed.
Okay, I just want to make sure you get to your car okay, okay?
Someone just said that she appreciated my charities.
Lieutenant behind you. Lieutenant behind you.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't give a fuck.
No, I'm just saying.
Cheers. Not afraid of fucking shit. Look at these two jackasses over here. Remember these two Beavis and Buttheads?
They were asking, so it's never.
Look at you still laughing. You're gonna be laughing for a while.
Yeah.
See how he's smiling and snickering? He's gonna get him lashing.
Thank you, thank you. Take care, okay? Good to see you. Thank you.
You can see that.
Mayor, I had another question for you. The thing you also said it was suicide by a cop. So
Right.
are you?
I said, I speculated.
I'm just going off of
I
what you had
speculated
said.
it might be. I said that was one of the options that.
You didn't say might in the.
Well, I think that, look, I mean, I don't think he wanted to go back to prison. He had been arrested, 18 times before?
Why would you speculate?
But how is that irrelevant?
Well, look, I think, who
the
knows
case.
what he did? He was found to be a lot of drugs in his system, right?
Well, hold on, wait a minute. You just said
Yeah.
you don't. Who knows what he did? But the way you spoke
I
on that
speculated.
quote.
You speculated.
Yeah.
Why didn't you say you
But-
were speculating?
Well, that's too bad.
But you didn't.
Yeah, it is
didn't
too
respect
bad,
the
isn't it?
family as you made.
No,
that
I didn't
quote.
respect. Well, look, the guy's a career criminal. He was presented wrong. He was
But
a
did
career criminal.
he paid his debt to society?
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did.
Or he'd be convicted, right?
Well, okay. Well, look,
But-
he was. Look,
The reason why I
he had been
asked-
arrested 18 times before. He knew what to do when he was being arrested. He
I'm
didn't
sorry.
get down on the ground like they told him to. He
Really?
reached back exactly like he reached back.
8 seconds later, they shot him.
Look, there was an investigation under law, and
And
there was
it
a
was a
grand
foul
jury, and there was a
investigation that was
grand
done.
jury, and
Do
there
you-
was a grand jury.
Yeah, but the judge
It's-
signed the
yeah,
the,
it's
ju-
over
the
with.
judge
It's over. It's
the
over.
judge also. It's not over. It's not over. And I think you're being very fucking disrespectful. You're being disrespectful to my
excuse me.
family. You're being disrespectful to my family by you saying that. And
Well,
you saying that
so I
suicide.
should say
so
he's a
wait.
good guy?
Yeah,
Should I say he's a good guy?
He was a good guy.
No, he
was
wasn't.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Did you know him?
He was a career
You
criminal.
didn't. You didn't
No,
know
I'm
him.
glad I didn't know him.
No. But what I'm saying is that. But what I'm saying is that you. What I'm saying is that what you
He's a
said
career
was
criminal.
disrespect. He wasn't a.
He was a burden on society.
Right. Oh,
career
so
criminal.
you're not a burden to society with your failed congressman career, right? Right? What have you done? What have you done for this
We're the
community?
edge of
What
Lowry
have you done for
Park.
this community? What have you done? But for you to hold on, bro. Yeah, you still walk, man.
Step aside. Step aside. Step aside. You don't have to go.
Ma'am, if you don't move your old ass out the way,
Hey, if you cool it.
if you don't move your old ass out the damn way, you put your hands on me again, it's gonna be a problem. I'm gonna
Well,
tell
you
you that
better
right
not
now.
be
Put
pushing
your hands on me again, it's gonna be a problem. I'm gonna just let you know. I can walk wherever the fuck I want to with your stupid ass.
That's my direct email. Thanks.
You're disrespectful. You're incredibly disrespectful, and you disrespected my family, and I don't appreciate that.
Family ain't very good.
What?
Family not very good.
And you're a piece of shit. How about that? You're a piece of shit. And what you said was incorrect. You didn't even look at the warrant, right? You didn't even look at the warrant. The warrant wasn't even signed.
Speculation, Mayor. Speculation. Speculation, failed congressman. Speculation. That's what you ran with. Speculation, Mayor.
What you did was
Speculation.
so, and it says a lot about your character about speaking on the dead. That he's no longer here to defend himself.
Right.
And for you to say that out of your mouth is absolutely
He
ridiculous.
was a
No, he
violent
was
career
not. Fucking liar.
You know what I'm saying? You didn't even. You said on camera, for the record, that you didn't even look at the. You didn't even look at the warrant.
Failed congressman. Why would you fail?
You didn't
in
even look at the
office,
warrant.
Mayor? Why'd
And then you
fail
said,
him?
"Ooh,
That's kind of weird.
that's kind of weird, isn't it?" Do you also know that Mike D killed somebody else? Do you also know that he also shot somebody else?
Tough job.
So,
Oh,
tough job.
Look at
You're a
this
piece
guy.
of shit, dude.
He's the worst.
You're a piece of
This is the
shit.
worst mayor that
You're a
there was
piece
ever
of
seen,
shit.
and
You know
he's doing
that?
Nothing but real shit. Just
Right.
like he did in Congress. Failed congressman. Why'd you fail in Congress?
Yeah,
Huh? Why did you fail in Congress?
yeah. You didn't accomplish anything in your political career, but lies. That's all you do.
Back here.
Because you don't know what the fuck you're talking
Big ass
about.
fucking security because for tough guy fucking Kaufman. You know why?
Yep.
Wait, counting down the days, Kaufman. When you get the fuck out of politics, retired.
How many days left?
Yeah. Go on a beach on Cancun somewhere, failed congressman. He failed in Congress. And now he's here in Aurora, and he's failing big time here in Aurora. He's failing the people.
And
There
you're
you go. Look at
disrespectful.
this.
You're disrespectful to my family,
Flanked by the two worst allied security guards.
who
too.
was murdered by your police officer from SWAT. Murdered. And you think it's okay?
Yeah, he's okay with murdering cops.
Yeah, he's totally okay with it.
Good to
And
see
you're
you.
a coward.
Yep,
That's why you
coward.
got your little,
Cowards. Beavis and Butthead Part 2 here.
yeah.
Look at this
Yeah,
fucking
get that
piece of
shaped
shit.
up right there.
Yeah, how about you
Fuck boy.
stop being a jackass? And you got something coming for you, buddy. Look at these guys.
Peace, bitch. Yeah. Count your days, bitch.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you right now, because your job is. Hey, fellas.
Yeah, I want to thank you guys for being respectful most of that time, really, until the end and stuff.
You say what now?
I want to thank you guys for being respectful till the end and
Yeah.
having everybody a chance.
Yeah,
to speak, so.
we're gonna be respectful, but what he said about my family member was not okay.
Yeah,
So-
I have no role in that. Hey, you mind if I chat with you? Do you remember me? We chatted down at Dollar General
Yeah.
the other day? Okay. And I don't know if you want. I don't want to say anything in front of that.
Oh no,
Where
we
you work or
could
anything like
chat.
that.
We
Okay,
could chat.
okay.
I just specifically wanted to film and document.
That's why
what
I
he
waited until
said.
that was done before I chatted with you.
That's
man.
that. Yeah.
This is
So
a separate deal.
Is it? You want me to be there, or what do you want to do?
no, we're good. We got our footage. I wanted to know if he looked at the warrant, and he didn't. He said he didn't.
Right, we
So
got
he's
it on
speaking
camera.
on the. As a matter of fact, the warrant was signed by the judge.
Right.
And he also forged the name allegedly of the prosecuting attorney.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. You know what you're
he
talking
just went
about.
off of
first.
speculation. That's what I
Yeah,
kept saying.
speculation. You got to be careful of that stuff. You got to be careful. That's where
Scheffler,
lawsuits and all that type stuff come in through. All right, guys.
You have a card?
We got what we needed. He's disrespectful,
Yeah, I know.
and
I just want your
and he
card. I think I met
completely
you over at,
disregarded the people. It's a little
the
too dark. I'm
public
trying
storage
to
unit over there.
Yes.
Yeah.
love you guys, and we'll speak to you
Scheffler.
guys later.
All right, you want me to end too? Kid?
Yeah, go ahead and end.